kids during Watergate, in our mid-late teens for Iran Gate, and now we're all grown up for Desert Storm. We've only ever known a government that doesn't tell us the truth, and so we've been taking it in our own hands to find out our own truth.
We were all probably about 10 years old when the Reagan-Bush administration got into office. So our view of democracy is pretty much completely comprised of that.
Our generation is the first generation of people who government is not a force for good in our lives.
You know, we need to give our youth the opportunity to run this country. Because all the older ones, they done fucked the country up.
I've been in a hurry for a long time. To achieve what? Recognition, appreciation, money, not truth. I'm taking you into my hero's church. We're going on Charlie Chaplin Studios, which is now A&M Records. I'm going here for another reason, but this is like my church, and I come here and ask questions and usually get answers. I won't say from who. And what interests me about Chaplin is not just so much that he was a comedic genius, but the fact that he seemed able to be a social critic and creative at the same time. This is a stage. This is where the films like City Lights, Modern Times, The Great Dictator, they were all shot here. If you're going to spend all the time and energy to make a film, you might as well have it be something that really reaches out and does more than entertain people, because you give a lot of your life to do it, so it might as well really matter. What's my agenda? 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 I'm only starting to get a sense of this, and it seems like the bottom line is education. It was good up till then, wasn't it? Yeah. Wait, just cut for a second. Let me gather my thoughts. Like, why don't I want to look in the mirror? Because, like, I'm uncomfortable with what I see sometimes. Because I know myself too well. I know I have to change. And you know what's it? It's that fear of change. Fear and denial on the campaign trail. You are standing on a ladder in case people think I'm Dustin Hoffman. Governor Clinton, just once, can we ask you one question on the youth vote? Do you intend to have anyone under 30 address the convention to talk for the youth vote, Youth of America?
We are going to have some young people in their 20s address the convention. I know that there will be some.
Okay, I'm available next week if you need any extra help.
Thanks.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Hey, have a good vacation.
I promised a chicken every pot. I promised him science and progress will lead to all man's happiness. I promised that if I get caught telling the truth, I will lie my way out of it.
For me, I call it, like the good boy and the goat boy. Those parts of me that are only out for my own instant gratification. Delayed gratification is not something that I was raised with a concept of. It's important for me to stress that it's not a frog, that is a goat, and it's just, I haven't honed it yet. If you repress the goat, then he'll nail you.
I think it's interesting that we have these two out here. One's a fool, which represents the youth and the openness to new experience and wanting to jump off into new things, almost foolhardy. The young spirit is ready to take off into the new phase of life.
I knew that this had to do with your visiting the conventions, but I kept getting the feeling that you either had been a president or very close to a presidential candidate, and I thought, oh, that's natural, that you were discovering who you are on this trip, aren't you?
There is a movement in this country, and I think really on this planet, toward self-realization, if you want to call it that, toward spirituality, which is, it's come about really out of crisis, because we are a planet in crisis. My father came in and said, everything's fine, and we went, okay, and then we went to sleep. I think probably an accurate analogy is that of a dysfunctional family. We have this idea that we are a society in which a lot of dysfunctional families exist, but I think we're missing the point that because of that, we are a dysfunctional country.
My mom and dad were the kind of couple that people always said would never split up. They'd always be together. They were the perfect couple. And then when I was 12, well, I'll never know why. It's really, I guess, none of my business. I had my own ideas, but they split up. And my sister went with my father, I think, out to California, and I moved to New York with my mom. Hi, Dad. Hi. Hi. Why did you make me ugly and shiny? Look at me.
Who did?
You did it. I have zits and I'm shiny and I'm not happy.
You mean you're blaming that on me?
Yeah.
I think 2/3 of him was awake for a long time, and a lot of what we did to ourselves, he's done too, and he's missing some fucking pistons.
I'm okay. It's a long day. Let's talk about the election, Dad.
Fuck you, the election. Listen, it's so obvious. If you don't vote, this is the worst I've ever seen it in my life. And if you don't vote this time, you know, you shouldn't even be alive.
My dad was an underground filmmaker. My mother was an actress. Our house was a place where we came and watched the dailies of whatever film my dad was making at the time. And, you know, everyone gave me for foot rubs and, you know, smoking pot and incense and...
Seattle kid. I think that a lot of us did things and thought it would be hypocritical to not have our kids participate in marijuana and stuff like that, so we thought it was cute to let them smoke it and all that. It was an idiot move on our parts, a lot of us, to share that with our children. But look, he's okay now.
I can't find my goddamn car keys.
Sorry, I can't find the car. So anyway, there is something to that, but generally I don't know. I'm just happy he's here. That's all.
Were you ever worried that he wasn't going to be here?
Many times.
What do you think that...
That's none of your fucking business. Okay?
Anyway, I think it's great that you're doing this. I never would have figured you for a political animal.
I'm not. I'm just starting to get into it.
Well,
I'm learning some stuff, though.
You know a lot now.
What about, did you even vote in the 60s? I don't remember you getting in the polls. You didn't?
No. I voted for Kennedy because he had a great-looking wife.
Yeah?
And there was no, it just looked so obvious to me that Nixon was a drag. I mean, it was that stupid. Since then, it hasn't been much. But this country's been in such bad form for so long that we just gotta hope whoever wins this just can rise to this occasion.
As a running maid.
This is very important. Any interesting dreams?
No, I have a bit of a boner right now, though.
So you got back to sleep and you got sleeping next to Josh does that to you? When someone says Al Gore to you, what just goes through your head? Do you have any reaction?
Pineapples.
Better learn up on all this legislative, judicial, and executive nonsense, so I can make sense of these nonsensical candidates.
Constitution and the United States government. Key terms. Impeach.
It's 4 years each, but the 26th Amendment is very important. What was that? It lowered the voting age to 18.
Mouth, it's distorting.
Thank you.
Right there.
Around there? Okay.
What are you doing here?
I'm making a movie about the elections. What are you doing here?
Well, I'm making a movie about you at the moment.
Oh, how's that coming? All right, this is Payback's a Bitch. What's your?
Bill Davis.
You having a good time? How you doing?
I don't know what to make of it. It's like a game show. It was like being in an excited mall with a lot of different food stops.
Young people have become so apathetic and indifferent. They're like couch potatoes vegetating before the boob tube, mesmerized by MTV 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. Silver spoons in their mouth big enough to offset the trade balance between Japan and the United States, and all they got to say is, I, me, I, me. For young America, you know who their leaders are? Axl Rose, Chuck D.
Arnold
Schwarzenegger, or Michael Jackson. And what these people do is great. They're entertainers. Michael Jordan, he's a great artist. But I think it's unfair that we should expect Michael Jackson and Michael Jordan to affect or to lead us out of the wilderness for problems that are in this country.
Can we make a difference?
Shit, yeah. The attitude is if you don't understand. He says, yeah, we can't make a difference. She says, you can't make a difference. The rest of us say it. You say it. And the rest of everybody else around here says, we can't make a difference. Well, then you got 10 million people saying, we can't make a difference, and those 10 million people can make a difference.
A lot of young people are involved on a grassroots activist level, but we know nothing about electoral politics. And I thought that we don't have power because we're out there on the outside while all these people on the inside are doing all the work, but doing the wrong stuff. So I want to get people my age and my generation more involved with electoral politics so we can work from the outside and know how that inside works.
Well, I was in school one day, and we were getting ready, a bunch of friends of mine were getting ready to go to a Young Republicans meeting because they didn't have anything else better to do. And the lady said, well, I'm not young. And I looked at him and I said, well, I'm not Republican. And so...
Why?
Why am I not Republican?
Yep.
Honestly?
Okay.
Because I think they're assholes.
We went over to Madison Square Gardens, a bunch of us girls, and we introduced ourselves to the delegates, and everyone was there, and we told them all about Goldfingers and asked them to come on in.
So I hear you have an interest in politics.
Yes, I do, actually. I'm a registered Republican. People generally would think that anyone who's a concerned enough citizen to vote and to even take interest in a party would be a more conservative individual. And yes, I am very conservative in, my real life. This is the fantasy life. This is the job. It's nothing more.
Girls trying to make that scenario work, that whole, it's like your first acceptance of women and sex, and somewhere along the line, I became really intimidated by the idea of a real trust and closeness, I mean, that would show up in not being able to get it up or flipping out. If you're at a place where you're uncomfortable with life, you're like, you're so spawning, When you see the idea of a vagina, it brings up a lot of fucking resentment.
This is very intimidating to us men.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, but you shouldn't be intimidated, not you.
Oh, okay.
Women's Action Coalition, huh?
That's only 6 months old. It was born out of the frustration women felt and kind of galvanized by Anita Hill, Clarence Thomas hearings. We held our first direct action within a week of forming.
What's your opinion?
My opinion is everybody should have the right to choose. God gave us the right to choose. Why can't other people?
Unless you're like a straight white male, I mean, you're basically fucked.
Men are always the superior, and they will always be considered that and get paid more than a woman.
Because women have to sweep the nation. After the House, clean the Senate.
Straight to the podium,
one
please.
of your aides called him and
It seems you've really been able to mix your personal and political life.
Watch yourself.
It's not true.
How have you been able to make that happen?
Well, that's a real good question, because in this kind of, this, what do I call it? It's like somebody might say there's no virgin in a whorehouse. It's kind of hard to talk about virtue when everything around you is going in the other direction. It's a very superficial kind of bond that is created in politics, often driven more by power and money and glory. And that's not enough to pull people together. There has to be a connection at a deeper level.
Keep hope alive. Keep hope. Everybody. Don't give up. Stand tall. I love you.
I mean, awareness and education are the only ways to prevent AIDS right now. It's ridiculous. People are dying and they're too embarrassed to say the words sex and homosexuality. I mean, ever see George Bush talk about anal sex?
Do you think that everyone's going to have to know someone that died from AIDS before people will really start taking action?
Well, certainly when there's like a face to it and you know them, it's going to affect you a lot more, you know?
Sometimes you get fed up and you get really frustrated when you're doing service work and you're watching the people that you want so much to save die and there's nothing you can do to stop it. And I get fed up with that, so I go in the streets.
I dream about the day when there will be no more AIDS, no more tears, no more pain, and no more dying.
What would you want to say to President Bush?
He could give thousands of dollars to the wars when we go and fight battles and stuff, but he says that he has no more money. If he could give that much money, why can't he give just a little at least to AIDS?
Let's march together. Let's pray together. Let's educate our children together. Let's build houses together. Let's fight for health care together. Let's change America together. Stand together and keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope
So this is where it all happens, huh? Wow, how's it going?
Pretty well.
There's a lot of gear in here, huh?
Yeah, we don't know how much most of it works. I know how to do this. Tried to get that right in the middle of her face, but it just doesn't look the same.
What do you think of Ann Richards?
I love her.
How come?
Huh? She's funny. She's a great governor. She is a recovered alcoholic who knows who she is and what she is.
Thank you. God bless you.
It's quite a 12-step platform this year. We have all these recovering men and women. It's kind of like One Nation under rehabilitation.
Don't shake it down, nah, nah. Ever since you put me down.
If I would not have wanted to get well,
If I would have continued along that same pattern, then I would have died, you know. But my brother and my mother instilled strength in me, which we all do. My brother has said to me over the years, when times get tough, it doesn't matter how tough they are. It doesn't matter because you can make it. It just doesn't matter. Just don't worry about it. It's a real simple, it's sort of like the just say no deal, you know. People say, oh, you know, you can't do it by just saying no. Well, the fact is, you can if you just say no. Now, once you say yes, it gets a little tougher. Well, the same thing here. He would always tell me to, quote, suck it up.
You know, I've been through treatment, and when you come out and, you know, you've got some guidelines of how to live life, and then you go back out on the streets, and it's like there's very few people who are really applying that kind of stuff in their own lives.
Today's the unconventional smoking. Democrats are in town having their convention, so we're having an unconvention because there were 2 admitted pot smokers on that ticket. Meanwhile, we're both being thrown in jail and they're running for a government office.
When you get stoned, that's like a little death, you know? That's why this guy's singing, you know, about the politicians. They should get stoned because that's going to be a little death for them and a little death for their egos.
Well, for me, you know, growing up in school, it was just, you know, smoking pot all the time, you know. And then went to Samo High. A lot of the friends, drugs in my family, drugs in a lot of my friends' families, you know. Drugs in the 70s in general, at least from where I was at. And I started really young, you know. And abuse comes in when you don't understand what drugs are supposed to be for. Or like my dad says, when the ritual becomes habitual, it's time to quit.
You would rather sell drugs to get a car than go to school because you could do it quicker. Whoever got the most money, whoever got the nice cars, whoever fucking the most girls, et cetera, man. It's like a thing like, you know, come on, it's the thing, it was the thing, and it's still a thing. Just like somebody, you know, I seen somebody else doing it and I wanted to do it. On and on and on. It's still going on to the day. It didn't get no better. I got shot 9 times, twice in the head.
What happened?
And I lived. Killed a couple of friends, an aunt. You know, they try to rob me. I'm making a lot of money, selling drugs, stick up kids. They try to kill me, take me out. They try to kill all the witnesses that was there so nobody couldn't talk. But happened so I lived. Lucky to live, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, baby. Yo.
I know 25 to life, that's what I'm facing. But who brought the drugs in the nation? Been going on from generation to generation. Now you want it to stop, so you'll hire more cops to get popped. Money and drugs is all politics. Lawyers and judges on the road to get rich. We just some young brothers caught up in the system's mix. Kept both eyes on the fight and still couldn't tell it was fixed. Big A with final words to say. I know I'm guilty, but hey, who killed JFK?
This is your first time on one of these things.
Yeah, it's my first time.
I thought yesterday was just a circus. Nothing was said, nothing. It was just like bread and circus, Roman dole. These people were one after the other were getting up there and just splurging out this bullshit hypocrisy about inner cities, homeless, and nothing concrete was being offered.
What about this, having a convention? Some people say it's outdated. What purpose does it really serve besides having the acceptance speech and all that kind of party nonsense? What do you think?
I think it's like publicity. It's like a big commercial.
Televisions are our public airwaves. They're ours. And they've been leased basically to 23 corporations control America, the American media. So there's no way that you're going to have a serious debate, serious discussion, or serious campaigning under a private system. Generally speaking, it takes cataclysmic events to really rock us out of complacency and certainly the hypocrisy that we see here today.
Get up and groove with the rhythm in your soul. And now I like to pass the mic to the mic. Keep my brother ad rock, I wanna sound like a light.
What are you guys all doing down here?
Going up to 3-4.
3-4? What's going on up there?
Civil unrest.
Yeah?
This whole place was like a war zone. Cars on fire, buildings. places were getting looted. Why? Because we all got fed up. Fed up with the old police state out here.
Do you think every one of those guys would fuck you up without thinking twice about it?
Hell yeah, drop of a dime.
Why? Every one of them?
They want a power trip.
That's a blanket statement.
Put it this way, guarantee if I walk down the street with this beer in my hand by myself, harboring nobody, I guarantee at least 1 or 2 cops out of a posse, at least 10, will at least come up to me, be like, how you doing? Boom, throw me on the wall, knock the 40 ounce out of my hand, and proceed to search me for no apparent
Just like
reason.
they're saying as a blanket statement, all you guys are drug dealers, none of you guys are creative, none of you guys are doing anything to help the community, you're all fucking it up worse, you're just trying to get a fast buck. It seems like neither of you are willing to give much on each other.
Let's just say it was an old record back in the days called Revolution Won't Be Televised. Here you got the revolution. We getting tired of the government coming down here like a big bunch of Johns, treating us like hookers, fuck us one day, give us money, and then step. Okay, that's how they doing us.
Because you know that in middle America, Americans seem to be afraid of guys like you. You know what I mean?
See, they're afraid of what they don't know about. See, that's the thing about this country. What they don't know about, they either try to take it over or kill it.
Do you think that these riots help or hurt? Or the
I think
violence
it
helps
hurts
or
ourselves to be burning down our own neighborhoods and destroying, you know, burning buildings with people in it and looting our own stores. But I can understand the frustrations on the other hand through the people. I mean, when you talk and talk and talk and you write your congressman, you do all those, the avenues, the right, you know, you use the things you're supposed to use in a democratic society, it seems that doesn't work, especially for minorities or whatever.
Have you lost some friends up here?
Lost a lot of boys, man, a lot of boys. There's not much hope out there for a lot of kids, you know, it's like, it's serious as a heart attack.
Now they come to New York, where Eleanor Bumpers was killed. New York, where Michael Stewart was killed. New York, where Yusuf Hawkins was killed. New York, where Marcus Garvey preached. New York, where Malcolm X preached. New York, where Adam Powell preached. And they bring us two Southerners with a Southern agenda. We say no justice. No justice. No justice. No justice.
What do you want from Governor Clinton?
I want Clinton to address the issues. If he wants to be the president, he should be the president of all the people and address all the pain. Police brutality, criminal justice, racial violence, infant mortality. I don't want him to throw out an economic plan and act like that we don't have criminal justice problems.
Yes, you have to be very careful when it comes to that.
Denzel. Here in America, racism is interwoven into our fabric. I mean, you're talking about America, you're talking about baseball, apple pie, and racism. And most of the times, racism is tied into economics.
When I lost my job, funds just went.
What was that like?
Horrible, man. I mean, it was horrible, man. Real horrible. Once you get a job, man, you're somebody. You feel good about yourself, you know? You go in there, do your 8 hours, come out, go home. You feel good about yourself, man. You ain't gonna tell me you got the technology to put that man on the moon and bring him back, then tell me that that I can't have no job. I can't have a place to stay. You got people working on Wall Street, making all the money in the world, go home to their little homes. They feel like their world's secure. They wake up one day like I woke up, and sleeping inside of a bridge or sleeping on a park bench. Realize, man, America ain't the dream that they thought it was.
America has changed from being
the land of the American dream or the land of the American nightmare. This isn't a country based on freedom. It's based on slavery, you know. And there's so much racism and crap like that going on here that it's almost not cool to live here anymore, unless you're just, you know, a stupid, ignorant sheep just bleeding out in a field and saying, ignorance is bliss, you know. That's not what it's about anymore. This country's going down real fast. I mean, you ask the people watching this movie how many of them own MX missiles. Chances are none of them will say yes. You ask them how many of them own VCRs, they'll all say they own VCRs. See, America makes the wrong thing. We make missiles. We don't make VCRs and stuff like that. So our economy sucks.
If money is evil, then that building is hell. This is the most obnoxious group of money-hungry, low IQ, high energy, jackrabbit, fucking wannabe, big-time, small-time, shit-talking, bothersome, irritating bunch of motherfuckers I have ever had to endure for more than 5 minutes.
And I never really learned. The 80s for me was like, keep buying, keep spending, you're making a lot of money, keep going for it, and I'm fucking tapped, man. I'm really pissed off. I'm really pissed.
If you look into a paper and you saw classified sections, there are hundreds of jobs that are offered to people. If you don't want to get up and you want to be lazy, I can't see.
Steve, I know
first of all, bullshit.
jobs.
First of all, if I pay taxes, why should I give somebody who's not working, quote, who years ago were called bums, now are called homeless. For a guy to wake up 8 o'clock in the morning, sit in the corner and drink beers and wine and not go look for a job is a bunch of bullshit to me. Why should I pay my tax for that guy? I pay a lot of goddamn money when I pay taxes. I think it's bullshit.
We don't deal with the guy on the street. We see dollar bills, trades, money, prospectuses, things on the street going up, up, up. We see lines going up.
What goes through your head when you see a homeless woman on the street with 2 children?
Actually, it's really upsetting to me because when I first moved to the city, I really upset me, and
it doesn't so much anymore?
I'm totally desensitized to it.
What about Milk and Booski and all the fucking crooks?
I love.
And
Forget about it. Let me tell you something. Yeah.
Why?
Because you know why? The guy made a lot of people a lot of money.
Made a lot of people a lot of money. He also ripped off my grandmother.
So what?
So what?
You're great, but you're a fucking mercenary. What's going on? What's going on? You're the Green Beret guys of Wall Street, and it's like devil may care, women and children first, take them all. I mean,
Listen,
you know what I mean?
Let's slow down here.
All right.
I have a wife and 3 kids at home.
Okay.
Okay? And
You do?
Yes,
I'm
I do.
leaving.
Let's slow down. Let's slow down.
If materialism was good, greed is good, and we ought to get greed is good. And see, we can agree on
Why is
something.
greed good?
Greed makes jobs. Money makes the world go round.
Money is the root of all evil.
Money is not the root of all evil.
What's the root of all evil?
Well, we could talk about it later.
That's why he gets the big bucks.
That's why you make more money than I do.
No, that's the stage. Yo, man, I told you not to go long bombs.
I did it for the money.
Oh, is that right? Here you go.
Anything for money, right?
Greed is good.
Greed is good.
Greed is good. Greed is good.
Our economy has been weakened fundamentally by 12 years of conservative Republicans' supply-side policy, so-called. In fact, supply-side was just another version of the failed Republican dogma of 65 years ago, then called trickle-down, which led to the Great Depression, and it has failed us again.
You can't get away with that shit.
There's a lot of people walking around with a lot of air in their heads. You may or may not be one of them.
It's hard to sift through the bullshit and see what you really are, trying to fight for.
If you love Malcolm X, attack the white man for South Africa. If you love Malcolm X, attack the white man for South Africa.
And I'm trying to get back in touch with who I really am. Is it working? I feel better. I feel better.
That you're looking stupid sitting around in your jockeys or whatever they're on. You know you gotta sit on your nose.
I know that there's a lot of imperfections going on in my life, but I'm trying to be comfortable with them.
Boots.
You want the boots on too? But my socks are wet. Can't I wait till they dry?
Give him a break. Come on.
Look at him. He's completely manipulating.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Let's see what it says.
I bet it says have some self-respect. I know it's gonna say that. Should at least. You're supposed to eat the cookie.
All right, I'll eat the next one. The world is always ready to receive talent with open arms. See, what you don't know is that I might have been doing that as a protest. Protest against boredom. In which case I would have been protected under the Bill of Rights or something like that to be able to do it. Yeah. Who would you vote for if you could vote this year?
Clinton and Gore.
Yeah? How come?
Well, I don't know. I just have a feeling that they're gonna keep their promises and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Are your parents Democrats?
Nah, they don't vote. Nah, it's just that they don't want to get into this stuff.
What do they do for a living?
My mom's a teacher. My dad, I hate. I don't know. I just don't like my dad.
That's understandable.
They're divorced, of course.
Yeah.
I'm scared because if he sees this, he's gonna kill me.
We'll protect you. Why would he kill you?
I don't know, cause I tell him I love him, and I'm telling lies and everything, cause he's making my mom and mine miserable. He's dragging everything along.
Yeah, I remember when my parents broke up, and I stayed with my mom. It was real rough for us too. I felt like I had to do everything all of a sudden, you know?
Yeah.
It's a drag. But sooner or later you move out, get your own place, and whatever.
I love my mom, so I just want to stay with her.
I want to say something to every child in America tonight who's out there trying to grow up without a father or a mother. I know how you feel. You're special too.
Okay, the trailers, the Clinton trailers. Yes. No, that's in the press area. So I've got Robert Downey. I've got him right here. Hold on one second. Do we know where we're going?
This is the man.
Do we know where we're going?
Now that we have changed the world, it's time to change America.
Basically, it seems like everyone says that they're going to change it for us, and seems like Clinton's the guy, but then Brown got up and went on. All these people holding up Brown signs. It doesn't really make sense, but what I will say is that I don't know if any of them are really going to change anything for me, but I would like to change. I'd like to get a sandwich. Maybe there's someone in.
Okay.
Hi, are there any sandwiches in here? No. Nothing at all?
No, no food.
No free food?
No free food.
All right, thank you. It's okay, bye.
Okay. Yep.
Them, the liberals. Them, the poor. Them, the homeless. Them, the people with disabilities. Them, the gays. We've gotten to where we've nearly themmed ourselves to death. Them and them and them.
Excuse me, where's the Sandwich Bureau?
1068.
Thank you, very, very exciting advertisement. Hi, I loved you, and chances are, thank you. Hi. All comes together now, one fell swoop. Oh, no, not this.
Go.
Oh, hi.
Hey, Robert, how you doing?
Good, how'd it go? Did it seem like it went well?
Good. I hope you enjoyed the night. Elizabeth, hi, how you doing? Come on in for a second.
Do you have any sandwiches?
Yeah, come on.
Can I have a sandwich? Thanks.
Do you have a sandwich?
Do you have a sandwich? Thanks. I'm kind of exhausted.
Shrimp and cheese.
Shrimp and cheese. Oh boy, I'm starving. I'm sorry. I just want to get a sandwich if I can.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I still believe in a place called hope.
Wow, Fleetwood Mac, this is the 90s.
I flew 3,000 miles for Clinton, and I saw the way we were. Okay, how's that? That's what. Put the camera back on. That's why I'm here, because we have to change, because they're right. I would hope. Don't mock me.
I'm going to mock you. You're going to mock me. You're going to mock me doubly. Was Clinton your first choice?
Mock me doubly. It's a great film, and you were brilliant in it.
Thank you very much. I've seen everything you've done.
Of course, it's my choice. What other choice is there?
It was your
It's
first
like voting
choice.
for Alf.
You're in the primary.
There's no one else. Come on.
You had a position in the convention earlier today. They took your hat away. What happened?
That's right. They took my hat away. We were escorting the film crew around.
You mean me and my buddies?
That's right. And you ran into Oliver Stone, and he invited us into a suite. And we had no idea whose suite it is, so we went in, took the film crew in. And now the story going around the operations is that me, Mike Evans, busted into Ron Brown, the chairman of the party suite, and knocked over his wife to bring in the film crew.
She's just mad because we stole her sandwich.
That's right. She wouldn't give us any sandwiches.
Now, you were saying some interesting stuff about your opinions of Clinton on the way down the escalator. Remember that day?
That's right. I think that Clinton doesn't have a prayer of a chance. And the reason I think that is I think that anybody that commits adultery shouldn't run for president of our country.
Well, you know,
And not that it bothers me personally. Not that it bothers me personally. Not that it bothers me personally. It's just that the Joe Sixpacks in America aren't going to stand for that. And the same thing. It's the same thing with the marijuana. It's not that he did it. It's how he handled it. Each time he screwed it up, and he handled it.
I agree with that.
Change the
I agree with
story
that, but I don't
every
think he doesn't
time.
deserve to be president because of it. He mishandled it.
Man.
Why did you call him a buffoon?
I think that the main thing Clinton lacks is he has no passion.
Hey, I let you talk, all right? Compared to most of the countries in this world, we have no choice. The Democratic and Republican parties anywhere else would be one party.
Let's blow up brains out.
No.
We have to start somewhere, don't we?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Let's make it the end of Taxi Driver. We'll all blow our brains out.
Starting to think, you know, maybe you better like start thinking about some of the long haul things, you know, kind of the marathon of life rather than the sprint.
I'm in the circle now, here loving how.
Now being married and having found like the right person, and you know. For me, getting married was about the ultimate idea of two people being in this ideal state that I always said, my God, to be just excited and creative with someone and you know, just a general sense of well-being about life. The only way to have a friend is to be one.
In bed.
With intimacy comes responsibility. It's frightening to think that everything that you do to yourself or to others around you affects so many people.
Someone tries to rip off my TV yesterday. Now, I'm married now. I have things to protect. I don't really care if they take my television. That's just a sign of the times and that things are rough and they need money for drugs to forget about the times, or they're just hungry and they're desperate. But what gets me going is it makes me want to go make sure that I know how to use my gun. And then if someone fucks with me, there's part of me that says, take him out.
Word up.
How's it going?
I've had guns for a long time, but this is my first legal one. Well, hey, self-defense, man. You need something for the house. You know? Try to break in, you gotta...
So you got out of the gang scene and into music.
Yeah, you know, when I make songs about, violent songs, I say, well, look, you could go pick up the gun, you can go rob somebody, but it always comes back around to you, When, our songs carried over, I figured, well, the truth is the truth. And the ones who don't like it, I figure, well, it's just like medicine. Medicine never tastes good, It's good for you, but it don't taste good.
Now, when you were in the gang, I would imagine some situations arise where you did some stuff that you might regret.
Yeah. Well, I should rephrase that. Nah, not actually. Nah, because I was the type that I never went out and caused the trouble. I was always the one where I was in the neighborhood and they came and they shot at me or one of my people. So I was like, well, you know what? Fuck that. Let's go get them back,
What do you think when you look out and see the skyline of the city, Los Angeles?
I could never leave it. I mean, I know there's a lot of bullshit within the suburbs and the ghettos and this downtown area. But all in all, it's pretty much taught me how to survive,
You don't want anybody that close, okay?
She was down on Sunset and she got raped by 6 black guys.
I'm outraged that, a young girl like this could be on the street and this could happen to her, I mean, it's sickening. I mean, it makes me sick. I'm gonna really be thinking about it tonight,
So people prey on each other. In Hollywood, all the shelters and all the things have been closed off to everyone.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Tin Canteen and LAYN and the Way In, and just they're the only few people who come out here and help us.
What kind of leader do you think America should have?
A black lesbian mother. Maybe some shit'll get done. We need. My mother used to always tell me, don't go feeding anyone else unless your family's fed. We're not fed in America.
I had nowhere to go, and my stepmother wouldn't let me live with her. My parents were dead. And Hollywood's supposed to be this glamorous place where stars were made, and I wanted to be a screenwriter, so I came out here.
And what did you discover here?
Thousands of homeless people, dirty streets. It's not so glamorous like Entertainment Tonight, or they say it's supposed to be. It's a hard life. I guess it's, quote, who you know and who you below out here.
Say your first name again.
I think the president has to be blind because I've been to the White House. He could look out his back window and see homelessness. I swear to God, he must look out his window like this.
we do have an amazing ability to not see what we don't want to see. Reality's too difficult. In other words, the same things that, the same ways that my father existed within his family, he also existed as President of the United States. He also fell prey to those same things. Being the child of an alcoholic, he had an incredible aptitude for denial. We saw that in the Iran-Contra scandal. We saw that pretty much across the board.
I began by telling the president that there was a cancer growing on the presidency.
Are there 100 Watergates going on a year that we just won't ever hear about?
Only about every 4 years, when the vast power that is the presidency of the United States is being contested. Politics is very hardball, and people do mount intelligence operations against the other side because they want to know, one, what are the capabilities of the other side, and two, what are their intentions.
Ollie North ran the secret arms to the Contras in the early 80s, also negotiated the Iran-Contra arms for hostage deal. Manuel Noriega, ex-generalissimo of Panama, friend of George Bush, Operation Just Cause, invasion in Panama to get him.
Get off my back!
Richard M. Nixon, nicknamed Tricky Dick, president from 68 to 74, first president to resign, helped George Bush's...
Helped salvage his career by making him the head of the Republican National Committee during Watergate.
Okay.
James Baker, nickname Bubba.
Secretary of State, George Bush's best friend, potential savior, head of the Houston Mafia. Beautiful.
George Bush, nickname
Poppy, head of CIA in 1976, canned by Carter, vice president 80 to 88, president 88 to 92.
Beautiful.
If we had like the greatest hits of the CIA album, what do you think some of the titles of the songs would be?
For real, because this is a lot of information we're taking. I need the short list.
You got the Ballad of the Bay of Pigs, words and music by Ted Shackley.
I mean, the latest thing is Panama. You know, we go in there to stop the Panamanian drug trade, and within 2 years, it's doubled.
We finance covert operations with drug money. And the major drug players are all CIA assets. I mean, there was this wonderful line in JFK where they're grilling the character. And they're saying, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? And he says, because I'm afraid if I don't do it, nobody will.
I am a sane, I think, United States Senator. Our government lies. And it's extraordinary the degree to which they will classify information in the name of embarrassment or political ideology and avoid telling the American people the truth.
We're up against some really bad guys in the world, and especially when the communists were in charge of the Soviet Union. Really bad guys. And covert action was a great thing. It deflated the Soviet Union so we didn't have to have a big war with them, and now people can enjoy themselves with not having the communist threat and all these missiles pointed at them.
Now, a surfing Republican is somewhat of an oxymoron.
I'm not the best surfer in the world, but I am the best surfer in Congress. Surfing is a lot like politics. You're looking for the right wave to carry you where you want to go. Motto down here is give me liberty or give me surf. Now how about that for Orange County, all right? And that's what Republicans are all about. Liberty and surf. I like rock and roll, I got a beard, and I have a lot of fun. And a lot of these old geezers who are running the party and are really too conservative in their lifestyle aren't going to appeal to anybody.
If you knew what was going on in Area 51 in Nevada, would you tell me?
Sure, but well, if it's not top secret, I don't know what's going on in Area 51.
Sure you don't.
Is that where the UFOs are?
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's right.
Holy God.
There's an alien civilization involved. Maybe many alien civilizations. We're talking about being in the backwaters. We're the primitive people. We're on one tiny little world. Maybe there's thousands of worlds linked up into a huge political organization of some kind.
I have this kind of fantasy about having a space lover.
Well, based on people's testimonies, there is some kind of interest in our sexuality, in our reproductive abilities, and in our genetics, maybe in producing some kind of a crossbreed between us and them. For what purpose, we don't know.
Is George a pretty good player? Have you seen any of his action?
George?
Yeah. Bush, Poppy. Do you know why I'm here?
No, why are you here?
Well, I'm here because we're going to the Republican convention, and seems like there's a lot of golf there. I'd like to be able to kind of fit in with them.
When people see you on the first tee and you come up there and act and know and look like what you're doing, they go, oh, watch this guy.
Uh-huh. He's a comer.
He's an up-and-coming comer. Absolutely.
After 12 years, the Republicans got to either put it together or it's going to be a meltdown.
The biggest issue facing the United States is how it is going to create new wealth, how it is going to reindustrialize itself, how are we going to be competitive, right? In the future, in the 21st century, government has to have a strategy. Who's got a long-term strategy? The Japanese have a long-term strategy. The Germans have a long-term strategy. Does America have an industrial strategy, an economic strategy? No. Just as we had a space program, just as we had a Cold War, a national security program, that national security in the 21st century is economic power.
I spoke to Mike Evans last night. Mike has totally infiltrated the Republican Volunteer Committee. Absolutely. He's wearing a suit and tie every day.
Your pocket, put it in your hand. Your pocket, put it in your hand, Nora. Turn around. Okay, turn around again. Into your pants pockets. Okay, you're good. Thank you. You're welcome, Sergeant.
Maybe nobody trusts me here, and maybe they're a little more hostile, but it's roomier, it's cooler, they've got more money, and look at all these sandwiches. Obviously, the party in power.
Well, President Reagan really accomplished a lot of great things for the United States, and he's really been maligned in the press, and everything, all the great accomplishments he's made are just being overlooked in favor of pointing out things that he's supposed to have done wrong.
Like what stuff have they, as the liberal media lynch mob, been saying about him?
They've, my mind just drew a complete blank.
Why are charges being made that the press is so liberal?
Most of us in the mainstream media tend to get accused by politicians who are deemed to be in trouble. The front runners don't very often accuse the press of being biased. far as I'm concerned, the whole conservative movement in America, and particularly the spiritual awakening, has been youth-oriented and youth-driven. Parents certainly are participating, but the kids today is where the hope is, and what I see today is a real positive thing happening among young people.
I'm an American, red-blooded, one bona fide citizen, and I'm proud to be called a Republican because I love this nation I was born in. Yeah, that's right, I'm a black man, and I'll fight for the truth that I must defend because I love this nation that I'm living in. I come from a very interesting background. My father owned nightclubs in Washington, D.C. I often say I saw the female anatomy before I even knew what female anatomy was. My father owned the type of clubs where women danced in the nude. There was drugs, there was alcohol, there was cocaine. I come from a dysfunctional family.
In your rap, you're speaking about the power and hope for abstinence going to the 90s.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a little easier said than done when you have all the
It's
hormones
idealistic.
raging.
Yeah. That's what Patricia Schroeder said. Congresswoman Patricia Schroeder, Democratic Congresswoman feminazi Patricia Schroeder. I've practiced abstinence so far.
Wow.
Hey,
More power
listen.
to
Hey,
you.
I've got as much desire to go out there and do it as the next guy, but we're more than dogs. We're more than dogs. We're more than beasts. We are humans. We have the ability of cognitive processes. We can think, we can decide, even though our libido and our engines run and we want to roar. Boy, do I want to roar. I'm still a virgin. I'm 28. You know I'm roaring.
And when it's cold outside, I've got the month of May. Well, I guess you said what can make me feel this way. We're talking about my girl, my girl.
You think that we're coming here biased, that we're coming here as liberals, that we're coming here to make...
I've watched MTV for 8 years, and I have never seen them portray anything political from an open-minded viewpoint where they showed the right and the left. They showed the left every time. To me, PC and liberalism is worse than McCarthyism ever was.
Yeah. Wait a second. What did you just say?
I say the PC movement is more stringent, it's more vindictive, and it's more dangerous than the McCarthyism and the McCarthy movement could have ever been and ever was.
The media has shown the conservative view as the religious right, and that's totally untrue. The true conservative view is everyone has control over themselves. It's laissez-faire. They have control over their own body. I mean, unfortunately,
what about the choices of the baby that's unborn? What about the fact that if we're going to give a woman a choice in this country, what about the women that are still in the womb? What about the women that are forming in the womb? The Supreme Court has already said that life starts at conception, and we should allow those people. We should allow those people to have the baby come out and let the baby decide.
All this sort of moralizing is really tedious to me, and so I wish that wasn't even an issue that we had to, defend and put all this political energy into, because the other social issues that need addressing that could preempt choice being such an issue, and the 1.5 million abortions every year that they're talking about being so lamentable. Maybe there wouldn't be as many. Maybe there wouldn't be as many unwanted pregnancies if you had, sex education and contraception available to people, and better health care and daycare, and the welfare system was reformed, and I mean, there's just so many other things that need addressing, and those are things that concern me, but I have to fight for choice because it's the thing that's in the way.
They call themselves Planned Parenthood. They're an abortion mill. They do not plan parenthood, they plan death.
That's right. Amen. I agree. The Bible says that the shedding of innocent blood is an abomination to God. And I submit to you that that's what you do every time that you murder an unborn little baby.
Every time you kill a little innocent one, you're killing Jesus. You know better.
Your mother taught you better, sent you to Sunday school. Look at you. You're doing wrong and you know it.
You are not going to be able to stop people from having abortions. But the difference is that if you guys have your way, there will be a lot more illegal abortions, and therefore there will be a lot more women dying from unsafe abortions.
We cannot stop sin in any fashion. There's a spiritual warfare that's going on between God and Satan. Satan is on that side of the street saying, get out there.
Who's God?
He is the Lord Jesus Christ, yes.
Mommy, mommy, why did you kill me? Mommy, mommy, why did you kill me? Mommy, mommy, why did you kill me? Bush Quail 92. 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 Bush Quail 92.
Kind of try to sum up your approach to the campaign. In a way, you are like a deadhead, but you're a campaign head.
I kind of see this as a conceptual artist piece. By going to the Democratic Convention, I'm the only person that's worked on both conventions and seen how both have run. And from that, I can hopefully take that to help create change. I'm a true media child. I feel like ever since I've been watching the Roadrunner cartoons, the entire media has geared my life, the popular culture. And I have a Coke machine in my living room. I feel like that I'm out to change the world, and I want to work within the system to try to do that. We were in New Hampshire, and we were up there working on some of the campaigns, and Pat Buchanan was coming. It was such a phenomenon up there. The people were so crazy in support of him, we wanted to go see him. And he came to the Common Man's Diner, of all places, for lunch. And so he was there, and he was getting ready to go inside, and his handlers didn't want him to go inside because the media was besieging him. So as he was walking in, he went into a revolving door. And as he got halfway around the door, I stuck my foot in the door and locked it so that Pat Buchanan was locked halfway in this revolving door. And it was just so great to have power over Pat Buchanan for these 30 seconds. He was under my control. And the next day, there was a full-page picture in the paper, Pat Buchanan stuck in the Common Man's Diner.
Thank you, Pat. 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 Thank you, Pat.
Like many of you, last month I watched that giant masquerade ball up at Madison Square Garden. Where 20,000 liberals and radicals came dressed up as moderates and centrists in the greatest single exhibition of cross-dressing in American political history. This is radical feminism, and it's not the kind of change we can abide in a nation we still call God's country.
Pro-choice, pro-child, pro-minority, pro-queer, pro-earth, prolific, profane, pro-arts, pro-change, and anti-censorship.
Patriarchal! Demolition! Women's action! Coalition! Patriarchal! Demolition!
There is a religious war going on in this country. It is a cultural war as critical to the kind of nation we shall be as the Cold War itself, for this war is for the soul of America.
I think that all this is a lot of rhetoric, is what it is. It's something that we've heard the last 12 years.
You know, when people have struggles and you see it on TV, you feel sympathy for them. But when it really happens to you, you really don't understand. I mean, you really don't understand what it's like to go down there and get food stamps. I want my children, I know they're young, but I want them to know what we're going through. I've told them that Daddy doesn't have a job, and, you know, we can't buy as much as we used to. And I'm telling my son we're here to get food stamps because we need help and to buy groceries. And that's what all these people are here for, is so they can get help to buy groceries. And, you know, he told me just now, he says, yeah, if they don't eat, they'll die. And, you know, that really hits home.
I always believed in the American dream. We've always believed that the next generation would be a better generation. And it's really disheartening to find out that our generation may actually be worse off. Hey guys, what's going on?
Hey Steve.
You all right?
Oh, Alex.
Did you get your brake lights fixed?
Yeah, temporarily. Still got a little work to do on them.
Okay.
So what did y'all think
About what?
about the convention going on?
About the convention?
Where's
I think it's
Jessica?
raising a lot of morale.
Where's Jessica?
You know, there's not a country better than us anywhere. So, hey, that's #1 in my book so far. You know.
We're in the biggest deficit we've ever been in. We've
4
had the
times.
second
It's
biggest
quadrupled.
recession we've ever had. I just don't understand this hypnosis of everything's okay, and maybe things haven't hit right here at your address yet, but you know what?
They've hit me. They hit me 6 months ago. I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment, separated from my husband, raising my daughter by myself, working, and not, you know, working hard and working to do anything I could, working as a waitress, washing cars.
But just because you've been there and you got through it doesn't mean that you are not supposed to be empathetic, sympathetic to others who are there right now, because maybe it's different.
There's a lot of people on food stamps that, just like me, could go out and work in a club if they had to and didn't want to, and it demeaned the heck out of them, but do it anyway. We're all after making money. That's what makes us survive. Okay, see, you don't agree, but since you don't agree with that, is it wrong for us to make money?
You know, of course, I'm doing fine right now. Maybe I'd feel different if I was looking for a job, but...
When you were you
I
down on
guarantee-
Bush?
I
When
know-
you were looking for a job, when you had been fired and everything, were you down on Bush?
No.
Who were you down on?
Uh,
Who were you down on?
possibly myself.
In the spirit of that, your neighbors are having a rough time next door, and what are you doing to help them?
I put my daughter over there and I pay them, and I give her first dibs every time to babysit my daughter, okay, #1. I give clothes next door. #2, tons of clothes, all my daughter's clothes, because they have a daughter. Okay, #3, I've told them, don't ever not ask if you need something. And #4, I've told them, as long as there's bread at my house, there's bread at your house.
All right, so actors are politicians and politicians are actors. We're sure of it now.
You know, I'm in the entertainment industry, and we're starting to get a little upset with this cultural elite destroying America's traditional values.
Robert, if you look at what Time Warner did in putting out a recording called Cop Killer, which directly threatened the lives of 600,000 lawmen, the people that you and I call 911 when we need help, that kind of activity creates an enormous sense in the minds of the American people that we've got a serious problem in Hollywood.
Let me think. Wait, let me think. Damn, wait. Downey, is that it? Is it Junior, right? Is it Morton? No, it's not Morton. Robert Downey Jr. We're sick and tired of you all portraying us
I'm
on
sorry,
TV.
when you mean you, or who are you referring to? You're not referring to me, are you?
I'm specifically speaking of white folks, white America.
When people started rioting in L.A., they wasn't mad and upset because black people were killing white folks. Yeah, we've been killing white folks for over 400 years. And your wars. They wasn't mad because we were killing white people. They were mad because we was killing white people without their fucking permission.
You know, half of young America, we're just still trying to figure out what the fuck is going on.
How can we stop the killing in black America when you white folks bring in the guns to black America? There's no black man named Smith & Wesson. That is your name. So if you want to do something for us, take out your guns out of our community and let us know that you mean something from your heart, because you've never done that for us. You all are in a privileged position to make change, because white people will listen to white people. So you all need to go with them, need to go to your white leaders with the program of change. We can't go to them because they think that we're just crazy and jungle bunnies, and like the man say, they're afraid of us. So why don't you go to your people and do your best to make change? But if you do that, you will never make another movie in Hollywood.
Born killer. I'm that motherfucking goddamn nigga. The brother that's tougher than any other you cover. The one you don't want to take home to your mother. Buckaloo screw.
You're approaching music and your art. You know, it doesn't pull any punches. And the message is that you feel that Rodney King is a sellout.
Right. Directly. He's straight up a sellout. Because if you're not, if you're not trying to lead the black struggle, you're trying to contain the black struggle. And to me, when black people started rioting in L.A., that was the most attention we ever got from the United States of America and the rest of the world. He gets his dumb ass up there and say some shit like, why can't we live together when we haven't been able to live together for over 400 years?
Is this your area? Is this where you're from?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, anywhere they let us live and shit, that's where I live. I mean, in 12 years, ain't much changed at all around this motherfucker, man. We still got horses and shit. I mean, until we overthrow the fucking government as it stands, it's no future for black and white, black people or white people, Hispanic people, Asian people, nobody. You know what I'm saying? Because if we can't have, then y'all can't have either. You know what I'm saying? If we can't live right, if we can't drive nice cars and live in fancy houses, then you can't have it either. And brothers are waking up to this shit. All around the world, the same song. It's just not abandoned buildings and run down homes and stuff in L.A. This shit is right here in Houston, Texas, as you can see.
Jesus could actually come back within our lifetime, and that these days that we're in are leading up to that, climactic event where Jesus himself will come back out of heaven and take all the Christians away from here.
There he is.
Dan's my man. Dan's any man. Dan's kind of a man. Dan's half man.
This one world leader is going to rise up, who is going to be the Antichrist, and he's going to promise everyone peace. But unfortunately, this man is going to deceive the world.
Hey, can you guys hear me seriously? The Secret Service guy's here. I don't want to get shot. I'm stuck. Hello?
Thank you, Lord Jesus. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
The reports of the death of the religious right are greatly exaggerated.
I heard that you caused trouble at a different place. I don't like trouble. It's not in my genes. I don't want trouble, so that's why I didn't let you in.
Why didn't you let me?
You were with him.
And what did you hear we did last
What trouble?
night? Because
What
we had
trouble?
to do
What trouble did you hear we caused? Trouble. I don't like trouble. It's not a matter of not liking you as individuals. I don't know you as individuals. I just don't like trouble. And if you guys bring trouble, I don't want it. So you stay out.
There was no trouble.
I'm sorry, what does trouble mean, sir? You're gonna have to look that one up and figure it out yourself.
I'm so glad I'm a living in the USA. I'm so glad I'm not some communist gay. Quit stopping.
Lord, I pray for your protection, that you said you came not to destroy lives, but to save lives, Lord. So we are people that are positive in our approach. We are concerned about the society, and we want to be a people pro-life because you are the one who brings life and life more abundantly. Amen. Let's give Jesus the hand clap. Amen.
He's not ashamed to take on the liberal media in defense of conservative values. Dan Quayle. They said that I was criticizing single mothers. Single mothers are constantly struggling against the odds and trying to get ahead. And many of them have no help.
There is no place that is not a place for such a demonstration.
Quayle family.
AIDS is killing America. There is no place that is not a place for...
Thank you for your support.
The eyes of Texas are upon you. The eyes of Texas are upon you. The eyes of Texas are upon you.
Just pause for a moment to reflect on what we've done. Join me in our new crusade so that we may make America safer and stronger for all our people. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Get fucking involved, because it's your friends, it's the people you're going to school with that are going to be dead in another 10 years if you don't get involved now. You've got to fight it now. You've got to work with every part of the government, everybody on the street, everyone you know, your family who thinks that everyone who's dead just is worthwhile being dead. You've got to do it or you're going to lose everyone you love and perhaps yourself.
AIDS is a disaster. Women die faster. AIDS is a disaster. Women die faster. AIDS is a disaster. Women die faster. AIDS is a disaster. Women die faster.
The two times that my heart has sung, and both these things, was at the AIDS rally in New York and at this protest today.
How about the protest?
And that's because you have people that are dying to tell the truth.
Every 7 minutes, somebody dies of AIDS. And that was the first time to me when I actually thought about it. Like when I'm at night sleeping, every 7 minutes someone's dying. I think Robert has gone through the same thing that all of us have gone through on this film. We've seen it now.
You've decided that you need to stand for something, that there's something you believe in. And maybe through this you've come to the point where you're ready to say something, and you can use this opportunity to have an effect. And when people see you, they'll think that maybe they should do something, that they should get involved, that they should help to create change.
You know, the Cold War's over, and now America's new enemy is its own. The liberals, the media, homosexuals, minorities, women who want to be empowered. You know, so if we could say the Cold War's over and the new American enemy is the other Americans.
If God has a plan, I better end the Cold War. There's too many nuclear frictions. If I get rid of that, maybe these little pinheads can figure it out. There are a lot of them, and maybe they can figure it out. And they got to vote for the fucking shit kicker, get him in there, and he'll rise from his shit kicker occasion to the occasion and do all the right things, or try, because he wants to be like Kennedy and be a good guy. And the planet will be saved just in the nick.
Is it too late or not for the American people to deal with? Once they understand that a decision that somebody makes in Langley or on Wall Street has an effect on the drugs on their street, has an effect on the guy that broke into their house last night or the guy that raped their daughter. That's when people get motivated enough to change something. When there's an old saying, in a ham and eggs breakfast, the chicken is involved and the pig is committed. We have to become a nation of pigs again.
There's this French phrase, if you don't do politics, politics will do you. And I've got a 16-month-old daughter who's going to have to live in this place after I'm gone. And so, to whatever tiny degree one can do a little bit of reading and get some information out there.
Once you start to take a stand and say something is wrong, and I'm going to find out what's wrong, and you think you might pay a price of a month, it winds up becoming your whole life.
And certainly, I think one of the most important things that could be pushed for would be a legitimate third party.
Thoreau triggered something. He triggered a movement. The time was right. He came along, and the man in the moment came together. I think a lot of these people are actually going to stay politically involved.
My personal opinion is Ross Perot's best place is outside the system. I think he can do more to shake things up, and there's still a whole lot of shaking that needs to be done.
Downey.
Mike.
I'm coming live over the cellar right now. How do I look?
You look great. Is that you?
Yeah, things were going really good in Little Rock. I ended up working in the war room with James Carvo and doing the satellite feeds all across the country.
I must say, man, you are really an inspiration to us all, and
Yeah, well, I think, you know, the one thing is I've always wanted to try to create change, and I think that I see the way to do that is through the media now. I see the media as kind of the nuclear weapon of the 90s.
Is now down to one endless final day.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Is the chicken man the best qualified man?
What scares me is the crossroads. You know, personal crossroads for me. It's such a pivotal time in general. And now seeing how pivotal things are outside, too, it just brings me back to the stuff of, are you ready to let outmoded beliefs die? Are you ready to do, are you ready for a transformation?
Hey, that's the only thing that's inevitable in life is change. And if things don't change, our planet's not going to be here, basically.
I think when you're talking about this stuff, cynicism is death. Then you die and you're not there anymore. As long as you're here, you got something to hope for.
Individuals make the difference, whether it was Robert Kennedy or Martin Luther King or Al Lowenstein or a lot of people who risked arrest and ultimately even their lives.
Get organized, come together, come with a proper agenda, and then come up to that White House door, knock on that door, but not even knock, kick that shit down.
These are the people that did it all. The perfect song for them is When the Saints Go Marching In. Let's go.
My dad and I were frightened, wondering if everything was going to fall apart on the day of the election. But my other mother, my father's second wife, Laura, who has ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease, and is physically challenged, had been assuring him and I for weeks that everything would be all right. As far as hope goes, the love I still see between them has really inspired me, probably more than anything else.
Laura has a good question, I guess, for Robert. What is the GOAT party? Because she hasn't seen a foot. I said maybe Robert was here in another lifetime and he was a shepherd or a goat. How the fuck do I know? This is one of the worst beatings in history. He stayed the course after having been swatted down in New Hampshire about his girlfriends and his pot. I just hope this fucking guy does something now. He proved he had endurance, and he's there tomorrow morning, and we better hear some shit already tomorrow. I want to hear it.
With high hopes and brave hearts in massive numbers, the American people have voted to make a new beginning.
Dad looked at me and he said, it felt like the 60s in here tonight. And he's never said anything like that. He's not one to be nostalgic. It's almost like he feels safe to care again.
like he might not have since the 60s.
Come on, Bill! Bring it home!
Clinton Quayle. How about that, just to mix it up?
Good news is no news. I'm using that in this fucking script. Good news is no news, said the hangman to the murderer on the scaffold. God gave Clinton a decent day here.
It's just nice of you. Huh?
Yeah. Anyway, I think you're doing great. And I told him over there, he said, why do you think Robert? I said, Robert's awake more than you know. He said, you're going to wake up this year he was awake a long time ago. It's just he's clogged in spots. Aren't you? Aren't we all? Just because you blank out, so fucking what?
I want to show you something.
Huh?
That's my goat boy. That's who I really am.
Thanks for a wonderful day.
Thank you. It was really
Thank
fun.
you. And I'm glad I know more about you than you know about me.